Good morning, good evening, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. What's up? What's up, ketchup?
It's amazing how much dust there is in the Philippines. Is it just in the Philippines or is it all over the world?
I, I think that's all over the world, man. It's just a matter of how clean you make your house. By the way,
Yeah, looks like
look at
I
that.
gotta deal with that problem. World's okayest employee.
First of all, it's
is
not
that
my cup. It's my wife's cup. Her boss
is
gave
that
it to her.
is that part of quiet quitting? Ah, very appropriate. Nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a cool boss. That's
yeah.
a cool boss.
hey,
You got a good boss when they can send you something like that.
oh, I know. Before we get started, I just want to say, since we won't have a show for it, advance happy birthday, fourth birthday for my baby back ribs, my little darling Aria Joe Ofrecio. Advance happy birthday. She's gonna be
What,
four already, dude.
what do you
Four.
mean we're not gonna have a show
Well,
on
her
it?
birthday's is on Saturday.
It's not gonna be the same day.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not gonna
okay.
be the same day, so I'll greet her again,
Uh,
belated happy birthday on Sunday. But I want the girl is growing up quick. I kid you
mm,
not. Now she's putting on her own clothes.
mm,
Um, she's been picking her clothes for the last year, basically. Like, if there's no pink on it whatsoever, she's not gonna wear it.
mm.
It's annoying. It's getting a little annoying, to be honest with you. It's great that she's independent because she feeds herself. She brushes her teeth. She washes her face. She changes her clothes. Yada yada yada. And now she won't even let me help her in the bathroom anymore when she goes to the bathroom. So, but it's getting a
Hey,
little annoying.
I could use a little help in the bathroom.
Okay, come on, man. Seriously.
No, just clean it up a little bit. With the soap scum and everything.
Nice, nice.
After you
Also,
shower, dry it
um,
up.
shout out to my oldest daughter's softball team, Broad Run High School JV softball team. It's been a tough couple of games, but let's go. Yesterday's game was good. It was decent. Um, you know, let's keep on working.
Did they win or did they lose? It was
Oh no,
decent.
they lost. They lost.
I wanted to ask you about that. We were
Yeah,
talking about sports last week, and
right, right.
I'm also following up with my inaanak. Would you rather have your daughter's team win, but you know, they not cheated, but they didn't not that they had a lot of errors, but it could have been prettier, could have been better, but they won, or would you have let them act perfectly, or have them act perfectly and everything, but they lost?
Can I plead the fifth on this one?
I got zero friends.
Two guys from two sides of the world. The flip side with Jay and Noel. You can catch us live online on YouTube and Facebook Monday, Wednesdays, and Sundays. And now, your hosts, Jay and Noel. Now, I just wanted to say that
Saved by the intro.
they they need a lot of work, and we're not talking about like mid-level work. We're talking about basic work. That's all I've got
That's
to say.
that's my next question: is do you say it to their face? Do you become honest with them and don't treat them like a snowflake?
Well, I mean, see, here's the
How do you?
thing.
Where's
My
the where's
I'm
the
a
right?
tough coach. That's the thing,
Mm,
though, and my
mm,
kids know that. I've coached my son in basketball, and now I'm helping my daughter with softball.
mm.
And I'm a tough coach. I have a no BS policy, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. If I think you're doing something wrong and needs improvement, I'm gonna call you out on it. If I think you suck at something, I'm gonna call you out on it. You know.
How do you call it out?
Oh, I'm gonna call you, hey, dude, you stink.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna BS around it. And then I'm gonna point out the mistakes and the errors, and I'm gonna help that person correct it. Basically, you know what I mean?
You're
That's
gonna
it.
say you stink. You're not gonna say, you know what, you can do this a little
No, I
better,
said no,
or
dude. This is really bad. Okay, you need to fix this.
I
I've
think you're
never sugarcoated things.
elbow needs to be in a little bit more and not out.
Well, obviously, I'm not going to say it stinks. If something's wrong, I'm going to call it out. I'm not going to say it stinks, but if something is really bad, then I'm going to say it's bad. you know,
Mm. It's
like
like,
there's this one
hey,
guy, and last time I coached a basketball team, there was this one guy who just honestly was just a horrible shooter
mm,
in basketball. I had to
mm.
tell him, dude, seriously, your shot is just bad. We need to change the whole thing.
What do you
And
say?
surprisingly, he accepted it. And
Did he?
he basically embraced the change. And it turns out there was just nobody there to point things out to him. There was nobody there to correct him.
Does it
So,
come back to the next episode? Does it come back to the next practice?
oh yeah, he stayed throughout the whole season. And I kid you
And
not, I mean he was still not that good, but
oh,
major improvement from day one of game one to like the last game.
I mean, he wasn't butthurt about it and everything. He wasn't like,
Now,
yeah.
I was surprised that he actually embraced it. He even told his mom.
Mm, mm,
Mom came up to me like game three. He's like, "Can you give him more playing time?" I'm like, "I'm working on it."
mm, mm.
Because it's true, you know.
You know what? Speaking of wood, there's like an interesting like chismis that's just well, if you were listening to the previous episode, you know what sport I'm talking about. But let's not
Right.
mention it just so that it doesn't like ruin anyone's career or life, or mine in particular. But there's like an interesting little chismis. So I was discussing with a mom about like how to make this kid better, right?
Mm.
And so we were going back and forth about it, and then a lot of it is like her deciding if like are we going to support this kid, is she going to support this kid doing what he wants, or does he like basically suck and like hopeless and everything. Long
Mm.
story short, at the end of the day, I think the international coaches, the ones that no wait I correct myself, I don't want to say international coaches, but the foreign coaches, the ones that are not here, not local coaches, because the local coaches
Hmm.
think that he sucks so bad that basically they don't want to teach him. Okay,
Like
but they
he's
don't have
not teachable.
that he's not mature enough to be taught.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a little going back and forth. But the drama is the soap opera of the whole situation is the mother was smart enough to talk to basically everyone that she knows, including me. So ako naman, me, I plead the fifth in a sense that I just know how to work out. I can't really say anything about talent as far as this particular sport is concerned. You can talk about
Right.
maybe basketball and baseball with me, but not like, for example, hockey or darts. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, I mean,
Mm.
I like those sports, but I'm not talented enough to judge a kid's talent anyway. But I really think that he's reasonable. He's good. I mean, he's a teenager, and you can't really blame him for sucking, because there's and then there's another article that we read. I'll go back to the drama.
Hmm.
There's an article that the mother shared with me, that the ones that are fast to learn, they tend
Hmm.
to either quit fast because they're bored with the sport, or at best they're only good locally,
Or
right?
they're thinking
but
that they just know everything.
but the international artists, the ones that go big league, national, international, are the ones that actually learn slower. Okay, but the drama that I wanted to get to is
Hmm.
that she was the mother was smarter than my friend. The mother, who happens to be my college friend, says that, you know what, somebody said that it could be his local specific coach that's the one that's bad, and not actually the kid. So she's trying to get more opinions and more
Mm. Right.
testing,
Right. Right.
so to
Right.
speak,
Right.
and talk to other local coaches to see if they're willing to take him on. But there's this thing about there's this club that you're part of, and then you
Yeah.
can't really
Yeah.
just switch to other schools, because but the thing is, you're paying, you can just jump to any club that this kid is interested in. You're not like
Yeah.
indebted to
Exactly.
you're not indebted to it, but there's utang na loob, and it's a small community, and you can't just jump
No.
from one club to the
No.
other.
Because then it's
But
an investment that you're putting on your child,
I raised an eyebrow when she said it could be the coach and
which
not
is
actually
true.
the kid. right?
It's
I
true.
was like,
Yes.
"Ooh, I'm waiting. I'm excited to find out." So they'll put him through the ringer and do some tests and see if he's really
if the
bad or he's
coach
just
if the coach and the player are not finding a connection, then it's not going to work.
oh, there's no
Y-
connection at all. It's like
Then that's never
you
going
know
to work.
how
Yeah.
you know how you just sit back and look at actually I think of him I was joking in the beginning and maybe that's what I meant
Hmm.
in the beginning parang like he was kind of the kid I think was kind of treated like yung manok like you
Ah,
just look at
ah,
the chicken fighting cock and you just judge you can't talk to the chicken there's no talent in the chicken you just
right,
look if he's willing to fight or not and quite naturally if he's a fighter that's the manok that you're going to choose that's the chicken that you're going to
right,
choose to
right,
fight right
right,
but if you don't really spend time with the guy and stuff you're not going to be able to decide talent but anyway that's the way I see it na parang
right.
he's treating the kid like a fighting cock,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is
That's not. It's
technically
not going to
he
work
is.
like that because there needs to be a dynamic, especially between the relationship of the coach and the player. You know, in
Right,
any sport,
right,
really. Because one way or the other,
right.
they're not. They might not see eye to eye on things, but there is that sliver of a connection that holds the mold together.
And
That's
maybe
all
the
that's
kid
required.
can't put one and one together, but I mean, can connect the dots together. But maybe he's also disheartened, or he doesn't have that drive or that fire because there's no connection.
There you go.
Because he can tell without really talking about it, he can tell that the coach is not really investing time
Right. And you
with
said it
him.
yourself. That's how it is. Yeah. That's definitely
Yeah.
how it is. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm interested sa susunod na kabanata on the
We'll
next
see what
episode.
happens.
I'm interested, yeah, what they're going to say and what they think about it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
again, it's a small community and I'm like an insider sort of I'm an outsider, sort of like
Marites.
a fly on the wall.
Right. Right.
I'm like
Right.
ooh. So
We'll see what happens. You know.
yeah, that's literally the next thing that I'm waiting for right now. It's like a next episode to drop.
Right. Right. Well, let
So
me
that's it.
jump into this real quick.
That's the highlight of my week, bro.
That's pretty
What's going
sad.
on?
No,
What you
so I
got?
saw this video. It's been circulating as a short already on the internet for a while now, but it led me to ask the question. If you want to give me a couple of seconds here, um, let's take a look at this together real quick.
A video is loading. There it is.
You wouldn't be with a single mother that's a millionaire?
It wouldn't be my first option, no.
You said a millionaire wouldn't want to be with a single mother that's a millionaire.
If he can go ahead and get a girl that doesn't have a child, he'll prefer that, yes. Men are very different than women because when a guy comes into a woman's relationship or a relationship with a woman and she has a child, he's going to be expected to take care of that child to a degree. You don't just get with that girl, you get with that girl and that child. And here's
Right.
another thing you got to remember. If we break up and I build a bond with that child, I now lose you and the child. And I can't have any type of parental rights to that child because it's your biological child, not mine. I'm a stepfather. So I lose you, the child, alimony, house, 50%. So it's an L for me. It's not worth the risk.
Really quick,
Did
right
she
there.
just take her headset off and walk out?
She did because she's obviously
So
a mother,
clearly this
and she
woman is
walked out. You know. Hold on one
really
sec.
upset with what I would just call the reality of being a single mother. Men are allowed to have preferences. A lot of men would prefer to not date a single mother. That doesn't mean that single mothers don't get remarried and that stepfathers don't exist because they do.
Do you see that as being true, especially in the Philippines with Filipinos?
What specifically? Sorry, I don't get the question.
Like single mothers being. I mean, honestly, when it comes to single parents in a relationship, does it go back and viewed as an investment? Does it
How
flow the
many-
same way with Filipinos? Does it go both ways for men and women?
Bro, we never discussed this, but how many plead the fifth cards can we use per episode?
I think one each. One
each. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Now, I don't have an opinion yet on the question that you just you just threw out because
Mhm.
maybe I don't understand the question, but because I'm distracted. There was another thing that I saw the other week. I probably don't need to bother to share it with you, but interesting enough. No, I did share it with you. I just don't have it on the screen right now. Um, top reasons why, and I'm not sure if this is from the video that I shared with you particularly. Maybe I saw another one, but there was a video, top reasons why. Because remember, a few months ago, we were discussing about passport bros moving
Right.
to the Philippines looking
Correct.
for women, right? Specifically the Philippines. And then, there's a much older guy that came up with a video saying, top 5 reasons why bros leave the Philippines and, call it quits when it comes to relationships around here.
Right.
Interesting enough that you bring up this video, and maybe I don't understand your question, but one of the reasons that he brought up was uh, dating Filipinas here in the Philippines. You'll be surprised. It's like 60-70% of them, and I don't know how true the statistic is, that basically they get disappointed that the women that they meet, and
Uh huh.
basically saying that the high rate of single mothers here in the Philippines specifically is so high that these passport bros can get turned off and go home
Of single
because
women,
no, single mothers.
single mothers. The
Yeah,
rate's so high.
the rate's so high for single mothers here in the Philippines that it turns some of them off, or at
Right.
least they're really careful about it. That they said, okay, I'm out. I don't want to be with a mom with I don't want a girlfriend that has a kid already.
Right. 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 Well, I mean, see, that's the thing there. That led me to the question and wondering, like, so are men and women viewing relationships as investments? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if you go into a relationship looking that it's going to be like what this guy says, okay, I'm not gonna date a single mom because if I build a relationship, I'm gonna lose 50% of what I have. I'm gonna lose the relationship with the child, the mom itself. It's a loss already. But
Mhm.
why go into anything and look at it that way, though? I understand what this lady was saying, that it may be the reality of things, but why do you have to look at it that way? It shouldn't.
Obviously, you're talking about the perspective of the guy. Ako
Well,
naman, when I hear
yeah, yeah,
something like that, obviously, he hasn't met the right one yet, or obviously he hasn't met a girl that he's actually willing to like compromise all of that stuff that he just mentioned,
mm-hmm,
considering that maybe she's actually supportive, that
mm-hmm,
he actually loves her, kind of thing, no matter
mm-hmm.
what the background or the situation might be. But I
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
get it. But at the same time, like I said, you got
Is
that
it true though?
list, but are you willing to like scratch that list, throw it away, and
Right,
be with this
right.
person?
Like as a single
But
person, I never really had that point of view where I would have a checklist on what kind of woman that I'm gonna want to date. I'd either be a single mom or somebody of this particular culture, lives in this place, makes this much money, etc., etc. I can't for some reason understand why people, either male or female, would have some kind of a list like that, or a threshold to put for a potential
well,
partner.
you got to have standards. That's what I admire about the guy.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Actually,
true.
for anyone, male or female, I think you got to have standards. I didn't, it's funny I mentioned that because it took me a while to realize that. Because like I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, when I was in high school, college, maybe,
Hmm.
yeah, I have standards. But as I get older, that's when I realize, oh, I really got to take those standards seriously. In a sense that
Yeah.
and they're not standards that I read from a book. They're
Right.
standards that actually have to come from my dirty jeans, back pocket
Right.
kind of thing, personal
Right.
experience. Um,
I never really
but
had that.
were you asking a question? Like, is that the situation? I don't
Well,
know. I
so
can't
from what
say.
that guy said, well, first of all, do you agree with what that guy says for a personal perspective? Like,
I get,
to him, it's like he wouldn't even venture off with somebody who's a single mom,
yeah,
et
not
cetera,
touch
et
her with a
cetera.
10-foot pole, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, what I would consider it. I would think twice about it, kind of thing. But
Hmm.
it's not a red flag, no go for me, kind of
Right.
like the way that he talked about it. Like it's like
Hmm.
he's talking about a car
Right.
or like an object. That's what I don't like about the way that he's talking about it. But at the same time, I'm not as success. If he's successful, I'm not success. And I think the point that the girl was originally making was that he's a millionaire and the woman is also a millionaire,
Right. It's coming from a financial standpoint.
saying that they're both successful.
Right. Right.
So
See, I can't. I don't have. To me, I can't relate to it whatsoever because I'm literally I was literally in that position. I dated a woman knowing that she has 2 kids. And it did not phase me whatsoever. It did not bother me whatsoever. Actually, it kind of improved myself. Now, did I worry that what if we break up? How is it going to be? No, I did not even have any kind of thought or inclination into that, because I went on to the relationship knowing fully that, okay, she has a child. I have to consider that as well. That's basically the biggest change in regards to the whole dating thing when it started. And then the only time that I really, really, really thought about the whole situation, especially having children involved,
Mhm.
was when I was trying to consider, okay, is this time? Is it? It's time to move on to the next step. Am I ready to take this on for the rest of my life or not? And basically, that was it. And when I was thinking about it, it's either I was going to prepare and was I ready, or do I need to end it and break up because there's too many lives involved? You know
You know what I'm thinking? It's hard
what?
to comment on this kind of stuff because unless we have our first million, that's when
Mm.
we can talk about it. But without that first million, I feel insecure about my opinions about things like this. You
Right,
know,
right, right.
it's one of those things. It's like, what assets are you talking about that you're gonna cut 50%?
Well,
It's
yeah.
hard
I
to
mean that's
hard,
like
hard to
that's
relate.
like in a bottom line perspective, though, and what he was saying.
But
In a way, he's kind of looking at it like, okay, maybe she's going into it as a security thing. I don't get it though. Why would you?
maybe
Both of
maybe
them were having that discussion, and comments towards each other in regards to that, coming from just a financial aspect of things, though.
maybe we're looking at it naively. We haven't been
No,
punched in
I
the
think
face
we're
hard
looking at
enough
it
to
realistically, because, well, the reality of thing is financial gain and loss is definitely a big part of a relationship, but you shouldn't look at it that way. Am I being all am I stuck in like a la la land type of thing in regards to this?
I'm just
You
doing
know what I
my
mean?
job being the devil's advocate, you know. But like I said, it's hard to comment because I don't have that first million
Right.
and I can't really relate to, losing
Mm.
half of that first million, which is supposed to be so hard to gain.
And
And
then the worst part, because of that kind of a standard that we put on each other as men and women, and finding relations, it looks like we're literally rating each person that we meet already and not even giving the benefit of the doubt. In hindsight, we're like literally doing a live version of swipe left, swipe right type of thing, without even knowing anything.
the first thing that comes to mind, maybe the closest that I have to relate to that first million, maybe our first 1,000 subscribers. It's like, are we willing to lose the first 1,000 subscribers for a relationship with a woman? So
Yeah.
now that I just I don't know. Maybe again, I joke about the first million, but I get his point. I don't disagree with him, but I
Hmm.
don't want to sink my teeth into it that deeply because you got to leave a little bit of maybe humanity, or
Yeah.
that because there's also that chance of you not meeting the right person because of that million that you have that right in front of you. Like you're
Mm.
saying, okay, I don't want to lose half of this, and you see the right person, but you don't even want to look at that right person because this million is like right in front of you. You just totally different,
Yeah. Yeah.
priorities. And
Mm.
obviously, having a relationship is probably not the first thing. And
Hmm.
a lot of the thinking now maybe is that the woman or your partner is like a compliment to you, like a cherry on top kind of thing, and not really like a teammate. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So maybe like going back to your daughter's baseball team, it's like they're not talking about a teammate. He sounds like he's talking about the color of the jersey of their
Right.
team
Right.
versus
Right.
actually winning the game. So
Well,
that's my little two
it
cents
it
about that.
sucks that if what he's saying does affect or reflect with how men are, I think it's a horrible horrible point of view to look at, or a direction to take in regards to finding a relationship. You shouldn't be putting that kind of a rating system to women. And at the hindsight, and in the women's perspective, I mean, the sad thing in like that kind of, it seems like they're finding the women who are single parents, it's security what's a priority. So maybe they're looking at it from
Right.
the wrong side as well. You know? So I don't
Yeah,
know. I mean, it's something
both.
that I personally can't agree with what he's saying, because I actually went through that same situation where I dated a single parent, single woman. Ended up marrying her. So, I guess
I
it's like
think
one in a million chance.
I think I get it, but not really because I don't have that first million. But
Mm.
being a guy, like I see what it means about, you know, profit and loss or weighing things. But at the same
Yeah,
time, you're not buying a car, you're relating to someone else. It's a relationship. You're
exactly.
not buying a tie. you
It's
know,
not an investment. It's not a stock that's going to go up and down already, but that's what it looks like it's being viewed as. So,
that's what it sounds like.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, quick commercial break from that. I
Yeah.
mean, a little tangent. This reminds me of this conversation that I was just listening to recently about how, uh, relating to the, center, left, and right thinking that you guys have there in the U.S. It was just funny to consider, to think that, like, the left now. Oh, no, this is you sharing a video with me about social media. Maybe we can
Yes.
segue into this, and maybe
Okay.
this is putting the wagon before the horse.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this idea that left now seems to be center, and then center seems to be right. Does that make sense? I
Not
say this.
really. I mean, that's
I
pretty
say this.
vague.
I say this because of the video that you shared. That's like left off of the deep end already.
Right. Right.
So that makes it look like left, but that's actually like way off already. I believe that the left as it is don't necessarily even agree to that. So it's like it's kind of moving move like the norms are moving far left, that the center is like right now, meaning that if I don't agree with this whole trans,
Right.
so many different kinds of gender kind of thing, all of a sudden I look like I'm so far right, but
Like the right wing person.
I'm really just center. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't even think that they view it as either left or right. It's just the way the generation is, and I think it all stems from social media. You know,
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
kind of, social media has taken away the reality of things from people. Here's
Yeah.
a good example. So let me. The first thing that's says on this video really, 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 like, what? I mean, it really kind of put a toll on me a little bit. So let me share this real quick.
Yeah, while that's loading, just real quick, while that's
Yeah.
loading, what you mentioned about social media, you're saying that it's, I don't know if I agree with you using the word that, reality
Mhm.
is so distorted. Maybe there's no reality online. We think that it's reality, but it's actually not. Maybe
It's
that's
not reality, but it's developed a concept, so to speak, in their train of thought. Like
and
this
then
one example.
and then it trickles down to reality.
Right, right. That's a good way of putting it. So here we go.
I want to talk to the kids.
So
Baby is gay.
I want to talk to the kids.
first thing is she's claiming for the baby that the baby's gay. I mean,
Right.
really, how?
Sometimes human beings are more than boy or girl. Sometimes we're something else. Sometimes we're both. Sometimes we kind of float.
I don't.
Hi guys, it's Misha and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about the mental health epidemic we have going on, and in particular how it affects Gen Z.
I'm so glad, by the way, that this girl did this video. I know it's an old video, but it's coming from a Gen Z's perspective, and in a way,
Yeah.
it kind of like it kind of supports my train of thought, I guess.
And also the connection with giving children access to social media, such as TikTok, the worst thing ever created ever. Before we get into this, please make sure you hit subscribe and the notification bell so that you don't miss my videos. TikTok apparently currently has over 1 billion active monthly users, and 1/3 of those users are under 14. They spend more time on social media than they eat or drink, because now it's estimated that the screen time has risen from ages 8 to 12 to 5 hours and 33 minutes.
Jesus.
What? I looked it up, and from ages 13 to 18, it's estimated 8 hours and 39 minutes. Oh my, how? How? You're spending over half of your waking hours looking at a screen. And listen, I understand how parents.
Do you fall into that category?
Plead the fifth.
That's yours for the day. Okay, you can't use that anymore. Sometimes I do fall into that category. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but
I'm
as
working,
as
researching.
of late, I'm using it for work purposes or show purposes. So it is. I don't know if it falls into it or not. You know.
Parents could want to give their 8-year-old or even younger child a tablet, an iPad, whatever, because it gives them a moment of peace. It gives them some.
You know what? So I understand what's going on, and I mean, this is something that we've talked about back and forth already. But with social media, do you, as somebody who lives now and is obviously a Gen expert? Oh wow, that's my daughter's favorite drink. Do you still remember personally? Do you remember how it was before this whole social media started? Do you miss that life?
There's two parts of that question. No, I don't miss. Yes, I remember it, and no, I don't miss it. But you never really know what you have until it's gone.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. I appreciate that I've been able to transition from that
right.
life to this life. But do I miss it? Not necessarily. I have that.
Right.
That's the thing about getting older, that I have more choices from all the experiences, so I can actually choose. Not to turn this on or pick up the phone during the day and pretend
Right.
like I'm not here. That's my adult version of hide and seek. But yeah, there's so many things to unpack with that topic and that question.
Right.
What else did you have in mind?
Well, I mean, for something with that for me, I do miss it though. I've always been the social. I guess I'm missing it for selfish reasons. One, I've always been like the social person, meaning I love the idea of or that part of my life where the excitement that builds up in regards to meeting your friends and then actually having decent conversation, relatable conversations, and actually hearing different point of views, from genuine train of thoughts that are being generated by each person, as opposed to it coming from social media, either maybe TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever,
Double-edged sword, though.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Now it's so hard. The biggest concern for me is it's so hard to find or experience genuine reactions because everything is so readily available. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, but here's another thing that I want to throw in the bucket. There's another video that you shared. I don't know if you plan to put that up, but I actually like the other video that you shared more, in the sense that he was mentioning all these things, like, you can't just have like there's this specific thing that he was saying about like the news, like
Right.
back in the days, there's legacy media kind of thing where they kind of dictate. So whatever happened, let's say Princess Diana died, everybody
Right.
knows that Princess Diana died, and everybody can talk about it
Mm-hmm.
at the water cooler or the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like something happens and it's like, oh, I didn't know that happened, because I, like, let's say, turn off news about the royal family. I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So so the plus and the minus about that is like you can actually relate to what everybody else is talking about.
Right.
As a group, we're all like experiencing the news together.
Hmm.
But now it's all just sort of detached and kind of like, what kind of news you want to follow.
Well, it's a rat race, Just for example, I was on vacation and this whole thing with the Baltimore Bridge, right?
Mm, mm.
I heard about it on social media, and literally 10 minutes later, everybody's trying to get online to have their reaction to it already and whatnot, without even having full details yet.
Mm, 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 mm.
They haven't even began the search and rescue, and people are already making assumptions on things. They're trying to like speculate on things. They're trying to create their own assumptions and situations and yada yada yada. And it's like a rat race to be able to get your own opinion out there already. You
So
can't generate proper opinion without knowing full details or facts. Most of the opinions that are being generated today are all assumptions or speculations.
my mass communications professor said it's always better to be more accurate than to be first.
Right. I agree with that 1000%. 1000%.
And then I'm thinking with the stuff that we're talking about now, social media
Mm.
today versus socials back in the day, and for what it's worth, legacy media is kind of like, that one restaurant in town where like,
Mhm.
ooh, wow. Now it's like sachets and fast food all over the place. Like you could just
Mhm.
pick up whatever you want to eat or whatever you want to consume
Right.
all over the place, anywhere. Like, so it's a good thing because it's so accessible, and it's a bad thing because you don't really know what's important.
Right. There's
There's
no
no
more importance in
gatekeeper
things. Yeah.
deciding anymore what we should all be talking about and what's really important. Not to say that I wish it were that way. I like it better the way it is now. I don't like being told, what's the most important thing to talk about. But I
Right.
really like that part about the fact that, when it happens, everybody can talk about it at the water cooler the next day. It's kind of like sort of relatable
Right.
as a generation
Right.
versus maybe that's the problem with today's millennials, that if you're complaining about the stuff that's going on with your kids or what you're worried about, is that there's nothing really anything to sort of unite them aside from the fact that they
That's a
all
good
have
way of
phones.
putting it. Yeah. There's there because everything is so openly out there that they don't have that opportunity to build that common ground already. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
like none of them will really say, well, except for maybe the pandemic, but they're
Right.
not going to be able to say something like, hey, remember that time we were stuck in the bridge because of the EDSA revolution or
Right,
something like
right,
that,
right.
or
So,
because
how do you think
we can't go out.
so with the way social media is now, how do you think it has affected the Philippines versus here in the US, or in the Philippines from your perspective? Like
Plead the fifth again.
in 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 my side, my point of view, it has kind of really dictated the everyday lives here. For social media has dictated the everyday lives for, especially for the younger generations like Gen Zs. You know, um, they believe everything that they read or hear on social media. You know,
I'm sure we're not far behind, but with the little neighborhood that I experience around here, my environment,
hmm
but the kids here still need to flush the toilet and wash the dishes.
right?
Comparing to, maybe in the US, you have your
No,
your dishwashing thing, and somebody has to flushes the toilet for them, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm just
yeah,
exaggerating, but I kind of feel like with the kids that are on the streets here in my neighborhood, they're a little bit more in touch with reality, even though they
hmm
do have their cell phones that have like a cracked screen that could barely
right,
connect,
right,
but they're number one in Dota, or they're number one in in League of Legends,
right, right,
kind
right.
of thing. So dare I say, I just have this slight feeling that they're a little bit more in touch with reality, in a sense that, like, yes, everybody's on social, but they know that they still need to wash the dishes, kind of
Right,
feeling.
right. I mean, that's the opposite here, really. I mean, like I said, social media has been pretty much the primary. reason for everything else for the younger generations. Unfortunately, everything is based on social. Oh, did you hear this? Check their Instagram. Oh, did you see that? Oh, go check their TikTok. I can't believe they did that. Oh, go check their Facebook. And and a lot of it, I don't know if it's a fabrication or what, but it doesn't seem genuine.
Mm-mm.
Everything else revolves around their phones and their social medias.
What do you mean by not genuine? I agree with you, but I'm curious where you're coming from. What do you mean it's not genuine? It's like superficial, not genuine?
In a way, you know, it's like, is it a real reaction because of what they saw on um on social media, and they're reacting to it because that's how everybody's reacting to it? You
Yeah,
know,
and then there's crowd mentality.
correct. And the
Thinking
higher the
like
hits,
sheep.
the bigger the views. You tend the younger generations tend to gravitate to it and like adapt themselves to it as well because it's already there, and it's that's what everybody's
Do,
saying. So I'm just gonna
do,
agree with it.
do any of your kids still listen to us by any chance? Or are they like, they only have 1,000 subscribers. Maybe it's not really
I
worth
I
listening to
really
these
don't
guys.
know. I don't know. I mean, they're so
We don't have enough street clout or street
they're into their own world too much. It's harder. They're Gen
yeah.
Zs as well, and honestly, their train of thought is also based on what they see or read online as well. It's sad to
That's
say. It's
scary
hard.
though.
It's
It's
scary.
scary.
Yeah. Even Google. I'm not gonna say. I mean, Google has been a platform for search engine forever, but not
Mm.
everything in Google is real. You know, not
Yeah,
everything
that's
in Google is
advertising.
accurate. Yeah, not
That's
everything is
advertising.
accurate.
I was actually I got hit by a Google ad a while ago. I didn't even realize it. I was looking
Mm,
for, I was training my inaanak, right? So looking for exercises and that kind of thing for him. And next
mm-hmm,
thing you know, I was already clicking through the links of this ad, and it's like for
mm-hmm,
example, like push-up progressions kind of thing, right? So and then an ad comes up, and then next thing you know, I'm considering getting this app because
man.
turns out that I was going through this rabbit hole of links because I was being fed by a sponsored ad,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
that's the priority to give
Right.
you. You're looking for exercises, we'll show you exercise related commercials, exercise related ads.
Mm-hmm.
And if I am not mindful about what I'm reading, it's like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense anymore. If
Right.
I'm a teenager not having enough experience about, getting swole, I would believe that hook, line, and sinker.
Exactly. Exactly. Because oh, I googled it. That's what you're gonna hear nowadays. If you Google it, it's gonna tell you, and that doesn't mean it's accurate. It doesn't mean it's correct. You know. Like for example, there is I was at the gym not before. All right, there's these kids, high school kids, working out next to me. A group of them, right? They're like saying like, okay, first of all, they're doing these bar pulls and whatnot, right?
Mm,
And it's obvious that they're doing it wrong. That they could actually hurt themselves because he's pulling it down and then he's slamming it up, in a way, right?
mm.
They're arguing about it. Some guy was like telling them, "You're not supposed to do that. You can hurt yourself." No, this is how you're supposed to do it. Google it. It's there. Really? You know?
So he was banking on a trend.
Yeah. It's social media and everything else online. A lot of it. I'm not saying it's all wrong. Okay. A lot of it are accurate, but not everything is true. Not everything is accurate. But the funny thing is, when kids or younger generations nowadays see something online on social media, and they gradually see that, oh, there's a million views on it, it's like they jump into it automatically. They're
Apparently, common
thinking that
sense is not
thinking
common
that it's
enough.
actually true, it's accurate, it's cool, whatever. In a way, it's taken away experiences from kids, from the younger generation as well.
I'm joking about common sense not being common enough, but what it really is like critical thinking. Do kids still need? Do
They
kids
don't
still
have that anymore.
know do kids still know? Are kids these days learning how to be critical thinker, or they're so critical thinking, they're so thinking that they think so much that they're not even doing anything anymore?
That's exactly what it is. Okay, so kids nowadays
Like,
are so in tune to what all the opinions and point of views that they see online through social media and whatnot as well, that they're not able to create their own train of thoughts and opinions on things properly anymore because there's so many options.
I
You
don't want
know?
to be I don't want to be called out for being not critical thinking. So I will
Right.
always be critical and thinking. Always.
In
There's
hindsight,
no
their
action anymore.
their train of thought is not even their train of thought anymore. Because it's what's being provided to them subconsciously, maybe by what they're watching or what they're reading in social media. And it's getting scary because what does that do? Is social media making the younger kids smarter or dumber? Really,
There's this I don't know if he's running for president or whatever he's running for, but I think he's a politician, and they put up a tent, like he's putting up YouTube videos
Right.
where he like put up a tent, I think in a college campus, and then he's
Right.
like open mic, talk to me kind of thing.
Right.
And one of the things that he's bringing up, for the life of me, I don't know his name, but it just comes up on my feed nowadays about him challenging, questioning if college is still worth, the investment.
Right.
And, being college kids in college, not paying for their own college,
Mhm.
Sponsored college, mom or dad's college is paying for them. He's just asking, like, reason to me, show me, tell me, explain to me why you think college is still a good investment.
Right.
And the college kids don't really have like a solid argument. Like, for example, like data, they don't even know how to explain things using data anymore.
They
Like,
don't. They don't.
because it's like all very emotional.
Right.
But
Right.
circling back to what that guy was saying about the relationships, and how we were saying that he's treating his relationship as if he's buying a tie or a car or an object. Maybe that's how you should be thinking about your college degree, and the fact that you are going to be incurring debt after that. I mean, especially there in the West, maybe
Oh yeah.
not compared to college here in the Philippines. Like the
And
whole
that's what's
system is
That's part of
slightly
what's
different.
scaring kids here nowadays too.
Incurring debt.
Yeah, before even starting their careers.
So you think that's a good thing?
What? No, absolutely not.
Well,
Schools here.
Do you think it's a good thing that they're questioning the fact that college could be, or it might not be, that kind of a worthy investment anymore?
See, it's a gray area for me, from my perspective, because in a way, yes, but in a way, no.
You need to
The
plead
only
fifth
reason is
card?
because how was that?
Do you need to plead the fifth card?
No, I don't actually. So I still think that college is a good investment. I believe, especially nowadays for the younger generations, because it will give you the opportunity to really discover yourself. Right now, there's like having options is good, but having too many options, just like what social media and online platform has created and generated for the younger generation, is not exactly a good thing. Because it's clouding the younger generation's mind, and it's not giving them direction and having them discover what they really want to do.
What I want to hear one of these college kids defend their choice or their opportunity that they're in college, because the guys, I don't think the guy's really discouraging these students to be in college. I think he's just challenging their thinking and the way, or I could be wrong, but I hope to see like a college kid say, you know what, I'm in college. Maybe yes, analytically, data wise, it's not a worthy investment. It's stupid. I'm probably not going to have the same job. I'm not going to have a job related to the course that I'm taking. But I think it's good life experience, and I think it's worth it. Just to like yung panindigan mo, just to say that like I follow my heart because
Right.
like nobody's even
Making a
like,
genuine decision.
they're so butthurt with the argument that they can't even take that kind of criticism, and they say,
Right.
you know what, we can agree to disagree, and I still believe in what I'm doing. Can't even say anything like that. It's like, oh,
It
well,
doesn't happen like that anymore. It doesn't. There's like practically two options that the younger generations are looking at right now. Like there's one, the option where they're seeing somebody online or in social media saying, you know what? And this is what I agree with, by the way. College is not for everybody. Sometimes there are those people where you need to make a decision. Is it going to be worth it for you as an investment to go into college where I might not even concentrate on it? Or should I just go ahead and follow what my dreams are and what I want to do and work on that? And then there's the other part of social media where, you know what? I don't need college. I'm making $1 million a month on online. I don't need college. I can do YouTube where I'm making $40,000 a week. You know what I'm saying? It's taken away that opportunity from the younger generations.
I think the operative word here, the important idea about college, is not whether to go to college or not. I think the important thing is to realize that you actually have a choice to
Correct.
go and or not to go. I think
Right.
what the one that I disagree with, or the one that I want to be careful of, or if advise the younger generation, so to speak, is to be careful of the idea that college is the only way.
Well, see, that's the
one that I'm
thing,
afraid
Del.
of.
In the
That's the one
Philippines
that I'm
and
afraid of.
in the Philippines and in the US, we live in a generation or in a society where they standardized college education as a stepping stone
Right.
and as your best opportunity for life.
Sure, follow the society, follow what everybody else is doing, fine, because that's the society. But in the back of your mind, you still know that there's a choice and that
Correct.
you are being stupid for following what everybody else is doing, but at least that you know that you're stupid. You know
Right.
what I mean? The one that I'm afraid of is
Again,
like, no, 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 I'm so smart. I'm going to be, I'm going to follow what the norm, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
I think that's the dangerous thing when you think that you're so smart and that there's no brain cell idea in your head that you could possibly just be like 0.001% doing something stupid. Like the ones that are yung sarado talaga, like
Mm, mm.
sarado
Well,
katoliko.
the,
Just 100%, this is the truth.
this
That's
you're
the one
you're
that I'm
hitting the
afraid of.
nail on the head there because it's a generation where a lot of the younger generation believe that they know everything already, and this is coming and stemming from social media and online access. Okay.
And I know because it's on
Having
Google.
Ye- Perfect. Oh, I can do this. I just need to Google it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
insane that how social media and online has given all these information to children or the younger generation, and they believe they know everything else. And then, in hindsight, what they don't need experience because they know it already.
When you Google
Really?
something, don't you get a little bit of data like that? That took 0.567 seconds, milliseconds.
Hmm.
Isn't there like a
Hmm.
little bit of data like that? Sometimes I'm like,
Probably.
take your time. I don't mind waiting. Like I need the answer correct. I need the right
Right.
answer.
Right.
Like I don't need it to be like 3 milliseconds faster than my last search. It's like take your time.
It's gotten to be a dangerous situation where to a point where is this really making the future, the younger generation's future, or is it making them smarter or is it making them dumber? Which leads to the next question is it, do they stand a chance?
See, here, I Googled Google, right? I put it in
Right.
the search bar on Google. It popped up about 25, is this million or billion results at 0.27 seconds. I'm like,
Jesus.
I don't mind you taking your time. Just give it a couple of more
Right,
seconds.
right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
And who's okay, and who's actually deciding which one is the correct response? you know
exactly.
Who?
And
you know
they know that based on statistics or what, that you're only going to look at the first 2 or 3 pages
right,
of that
right,
search.
right. And
You know, that's what I want to remind
okay.
your
Well, there's
kid.
1,000 more pages. Are you gonna sit there and go through it? Oh no, no, no! If you go
Right.
through the first five options, one of them is right. You just have to guess which one. You know?
Ay,
or
ay, ay.
or listen to, if you go to this TikTok page, they're gonna tell you the reasons or whatever. Like, come on, you know.
Yeah, you get an
So
idea, but sink your teeth into it. Jeez.
how does this, from your point of view and your perspective, how do you think it's gonna pan out for the next generation?
They'll find their own way. I'm
You think
sure.
so? I mean,
They'll be
obviously they'll
fine.
find their own way, but it's a scary thought. It's a definitely scary thought.
It'll be on wobbly legs, though. I don't think the foundation is going to keep them solid. It's going to go up, and it's
Well,
probably going to start crashing, and then
their foundation
you
is
know.
gonna be having, it's gonna stem from like a million options based on Google.
But yeah, it's a whole new world for sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure, it's like back to zero right now. Like everything that our uncles, our ninunos learned, like
Hmm.
all of that is out the door, thrown out with a baby,
Hmm.
bathwater, kind of thing. All because of all these options now.
Isn't it sad nowadays? You don't really hear, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be
Mm.
I want to be an accountant, you know? Yeah. I'm gonna be a YouTuber, or I'm a TikToker, you know, I'm gonna be a sales manager on TikTok, and like,
Yeah, it used to be about stuff that you do
mhm.
outside of the house versus. But I guess if you're a
Well,
YouTuber, if you're
it's not
a
having to do
TikToker,
with
you
the
could.
location. It's more like the amount of work and the aspirations of like the basic, not the basic, but the
Or the
I guess
physical
the
activity.
standardized workflow. Yeah.
No, the way I see it, it's the physical activities. People actually want to get up and do stuff.
Well, they don't do that anymore. It's
Maybe
rare.
be a soccer player, you know what I mean? But now soccer player? What's that? I'm gonna have to run across the field? I could just do that with my thumbs. You
Right,
know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Why run across the field and get sweaty? Papawisan ka pa.
right. And it's hard, you know. It's just a scary thought. I mean, I'm seriously worried about how my kid's future is going to be. I'm not too worried about my youngest daughter's future yet, you know, because I'm
Mm.
still hopeful for the next generation. You know, my kids
Yeah.
are Gen Zers, and I'm not saying all Gen Zs are like this, of what we've been talking about, what we've been discussing, but I have hope. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
they'll find
hoping
their
that.
way.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I keep hearing you say they'll find their way, they find their way, but they're
Maybe they're
getting
gonna be
lost into
yeah, maybe
transition because of all of the different options that's available for them.
maybe
In
they're gonna
hindsight,
be
they can't make a decision.
late bloomers. Maybe they will decide towards the end when there's 0.27 seconds left.
Towards this, when they're approaching page 1 million on Google,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
maybe they'll
yeah.
have a decision.
Commercial
Man, I
break
hope it does.
from this discussion.
Right.
Still with it along the lines, but there was another question on that guy that was at the college campus.
Right.
The question was LeBron James or Jordan.
Oh,
Who's the GOAT?
God. Come on. I mean, really? Okay, are we going to talk about this now? Are we going to spend.
Right? Right?
Right.
Right. Okay. So thinking that you know the right answer, okay, and let's not discuss the correct answer or not. But can you imagine if someone's going to base his or her decision on who's the GOAT based on a
Mhm.
Google search on like statistics and everything that you can't Google? I don't think you
That's what.
can.
I mean, you can't really Google it, but it obviously is going to be based out of statistics. But not only statistics, it's accomplishments, what they've done inside and outside of the court, how they've
Hang on.
changed the game.
If you put, that question on Google or let's say Chat GPT, like who's,
Right.
The GOAT, like, oh well, based on internet, blah blah blah. It's like everything's like on the internet, so it's just like an echo chamber. Of course, you're going to get, that echo chamber answer.
Right.
But
Right.
I guess you would have had to live it. You would have had to have been there. It's one of those things that you can't just talk about unless you were there.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. Like the younger generation look at it mainly through statistics and whatnot, and what they've seen here. A lot of them think, oh, it's James. But you know what? They haven't seen Jordan. I'm sure they have, but they haven't experienced on that moment in that generation, which they never will because it's past, right? The people that have the proper or that would have the best opinions are these, or that the people that watched it from that generation and this generation as well. If
I
that
don't
makes
think
sense.
I don't think the kids will have the patience to like watch like a whole season or a game of Jordan to appreciate, the difference of how
Right,
James
right,
plays.
right,
Right?
right.
He probably watched, and they're gonna stay away from it because it's not current. It looks like an old video. It didn't come out
Yeah,
yesterday.
exactly. Right.
Unless Jordan comes up with a video today and he posts it within the next hour, maybe people will watch. But go back to the late 90s and see how he was with the Chicago Bulls.
Right,
They'll be like vintage, archival footage.
right. I mean, a good comparison here is like on how to, or the closest of how of a team that compared to how Jordan's era was. Like, for example, Jordan in the early 90s when they had that 70 plus wins as a team, right? For how many decades there hasn't been a team that came close to that, because Jordan made everybody in that team better. It wasn't just Jordan, right?
That's what this guy was arguing, in a sense that maybe it's not about them playing one-on-one, like who's a better basketball player. It's about who actually affected the team more, actually even changed the game.
Exactly. If I was to say and to think and put it into that perspective or that category, James does not even come close. The person that would come close to something similar like that, where the 72 win Bulls back in the 90s, is what Steph Curry and Klay Thompson did for the Warriors. That year where they won 72 or 70, when they won 70 wins, okay, that Golden State Warriors did. That team would be the closest to what the 91, 92, 72 wins Jordan did. That's it, as far as I can see or whatnot, in regards to how a player affected the entire team. Definitely Steph Curry made that effect into that entire team. James, I haven't seen him make that kind of effect into a team yet.
So the question was LeBron James or Jordan, right?
Yeah.
I Googled it.
What do you say?
Top 10 players who revolutionized basketball. Yeah, number 1, Jordan.
Right.
Curry, you were talking about Curry. He's at number 8.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant's number 9. I don't see LeBron James on the list.
LeBron James is not even in the list.
Well, according to the College Insider, but for this particular list. But just going back to that video, it was about LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. It's like he had the audacity to argue his point.
Right. I don't think it comes close. I mean, who are we to say? It's not like we've played the games or whatnot, right? Or we follow the stats and like everybody else. But as a spectator,
member,
yes,
right.
And we're gonna get a lot of crap about this, but you know what? I don't care.
Have to play the game. You don't have to play the game to realize that. You don't even have
We are coming from a perspective's point of view, from a fan's point of view, okay?
You don't even have to like basketball, but you will know that there is something going on and somebody's like doing something that nobody else is doing.
That's a good way of putting at it. Even people that don't like basketball have been affected by what Jordan has done. Okay.
I don't even play or watch or follow basketball.
James, you're not going to hear that about what James has done. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
if you're gonna ask me to wear a jersey, I want to wear the Jordan. I want to wear 23.
Right.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
James already also wears 23.
Because Jordan was 23.
Correct. Yeah.
Come on.
There's no comparison, people. Anyway, whatever. You know what?
I know
Who
my
cares?
history. I might not be an NBA player, but I know my, a little bit.
Okay, guys. I think we are done for the day. Hey, anything else you want to add on?
No. I
No.
don't.
Well,
Google it.
thank you. Google it. If you have anything else that you want to hear for Noel to add on, Google it. They will have it at the 15th page.
Right.
Anyway.
100th page.
Thank you very much for joining us. It has been another day, episode 142 down the drain. Like us and watch. Hey, listen, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram.
Wow.
Like
Twitch.
it. Support us. Any kind of support is greatly appreciated. All right, I think that's it. Next
Parang
episode
big
is
time.
Sunday, the
When you say
21st.
Twitch.
Yeah.
When you say Twitch, parang, uy, groovy, millennial.
All right, guys. Well, listen, again, thank you very much for joining us. Join us on the next episode, which will be this Sunday, 7 a.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Philippines. So, again, this is The Flip Side with Jay and Noel. My name is Jay.
Peace out. My name is Noel.
We'll catch you guys later.
On the flip side.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Catch us on the next episode, Sunday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Philippines. This is The Flip Side with Jay and Noel.